raise your hand or something, and we'll open the mic. So I'm sure everybody heard about the 8-link path of yoga, right? Yes, in yoga, we all hear about it. And it is 8 branches of yoga. So can everybody hear me well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sometimes there's delay at my internet, but let me know if I break down. And so Dr. Vivek is going to cover half of the presentation, a little less than half. I'm going to do the first 4 branches. And the importance of these as yoginis and yogis and teachers or healers, whatever your profession, is that yoga is more than exercise. Is exercise like what we call asanas is just a very small percentage. So Dr. Vivek and I wanted to start this series of yoga psychology to talk more about the vast knowledge of yoga and Vedanta and other schools in India of yoga. So the 8 limbs is just one portion of this knowledge, and I think is very, very good to refresh our memories and understand these better. So the 8 limbs, we call it limbs of yoga, like arms or branches or areas. And this is yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So what is the 8-link path? Sometimes it's called the 8 limbs or the limbs of yoga. It's a manual of the study of yoga and the practice of yoga. It's like a guideline of more than exercise. It's a guideline of righteous living, of right conduct and social order, which goes also together with the dharma, the dharmic principles in Hinduism. And it's practical advice. So it is not just a book that you grab and read one time. It's actually a manual that you have, like instructions for life, so to speak. And I really love it because when I started learning these in my yoga training, you start getting more into it. And it's very good. We're going to see why. So it's very good for achieving mental, physical, and emotional harmony. And it is essential for psychological health and well-being. And why do we say this? Because think about it. Not everybody is lucky to have parents, or if you have them, maybe they don't bring you the knowledge that you need. Or not everybody is lucky to have adults in your life to guide them, to give them wisdom of that comes with years, with the ages. Or even teachers, right? Not everybody has access to school. There's a lot of people who have other problems in life, other obstacles. So this is very good because it provides a lot of wisdom that we should be getting, but we don't, right? So that's what I think is so valuable about this. So this is based on life counseling model. And it can be enhanced by Ayurveda or Vedic astrology. And when you combine yoga principles, exercise, Ayurveda, and Vedic astrology, this is the entire world of Vedic counseling. So as you can see, yoga, I'm sure you know this, but if we remember all of these, yoga is way more than just asanas, right? And it's actually counseling, so we can help our students or our clients with guidance. They help themselves, but you guide them with these principles if they are open to them. And Vedic counseling provides we see yoga in a broader light and in a more spiritual light and psychological. So it encompasses the entire being. So that this is where we hear a lot about the holistic approaches of yoga, holistic approaches of alternative medicine. So this is what we're talking about, like attending to all aspects of the human being. Okay, so I was wondering, where is this coming from? Where is this great knowledge coming from? What are the origins of the Eightling Path? And they are derived from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I'm sure most of us have heard of this. Yeah, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are based on the Sankhya school of philosophy in India. And they borrow from other philosophies, part of these six large schools, but is mainly, as I understand it, is mainly based on the Sankhya tradition. And the Yoga Sutras were compiled by sage Patanjali many, many years ago. And they are the prime text of Yoga Darsana, it's called. It's a school of classical Vedic philosophy. It accepts the authority of the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. If you were not able to join our first yoga psychology series, the first introduction we did, we went over all of these ancient sources of yoga, the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and these are considered sacred texts and building blocks of yoga and yoga philosophy and yoga psychology. So these are the origins of yoga, including the Eightling Path of Yoga. And so what is so fantastic about this, in my opinion, is that what are the Vedas and the Upanishads, right? I'm sure you heard about them. These are a compilation of knowledge, and they were primarily written by the rishis in India and sages through meditation. So they were completely devoted to meditation and focusing on the inner energies and inner well-being and psychological well-being, controlling your thoughts, all of that. So that's all they did in their life, I'm assuming, right? Like studying themselves and how they felt with these practices. So this is higher knowledge acquired through deep states of meditation. So we call it cosmic knowledge, cosmic intelligence, higher intelligence. And from there, thousands of years of evolution created the Vedas, the Upanishads. Okay, so just a brief intro about that. And okay, so how can the Eightling Path help me, right? So one of the Yoga Sutras are divided in different verses or sections and books. And Sutra number 28 says, by the practice of the limbs of yoga, the impurities of the mind dissolve and wisdom is revealed, leading to discriminative discernment. So these rishis, these sages, discovered these through meditation, and they came back and said the world needs to know this, that the world needs to know that through the practice of these life principles and advice, Vedic advice, you can clean your mind from chatter, from thought patterns inherited through generations and maybe other lives, if you believe in that. And we develop wisdom. And this leads to discriminative discernment. So in other words, it makes you smarter and it gives you intelligence not acquired through the intellect only, right? There are different ways to acquire knowledge. And one of them is through meditation, through higher intelligence. This is like very advanced way of doing it. Yes, some people take years or many lifetimes to be able to do that. Others do it more easily. But you get the idea how important this is. So when I found out about this, I said, wow, this is like worth trying, right? These practices of acquiring wisdom and living a better life. So the purpose of the Yoga Sutras, where the Eightling Path of Yoga is derived from, is to illuminate our spiritual path. So maybe you have a spiritual practice, maybe you don't, but I believe that everybody has a spiritual side, even if you are not aware of it or if you are pushing against it. everybody has it because that's our soul, our spirit. So it helps in that path if you want to develop it more or become more advanced, more spiritually mature. And also the Yoga Sutras helps us forget our selfishness and broaden our minds, right? Because these are the principles of righteous living. The aim of yoga is moksha. Moksha, it means liberation. And this sometimes is hard for people who are just starting to understand these principles, like liberation from what? Like freedom, just I do whatever I want. Well, no, is liberation from a false identity. And this is what I love about yoga and these teachings, that it cleans all the imposed beliefs, perceptions, false ideas, fears, wrong actions that have been imposed on us since we were little. And yoga says you are a perfect being, you are perfect. And throughout your lifetime, you were imposed things, mental patterns, belief systems, right, through institutions, through your parents, through your family, through society. So even though this can be good for unity and helping each other, sometimes it imposes ideas on us, right? So what yoga does is to allows us to take a step back and think, like, is this really me? And what path do I want to follow from here? Okay, so the subject matter of the Yoga Sutras and the eighth path is the mind, sorting out and cleaning the mind and the thoughts until it becomes pure to reflect the true self. And this is called Atman in Vedanta, or Purusha in Sankhya tradition. Once you master the mind, you become the true owner and manager of your kingdom. So, as counselor, mental health intern, clinician, I study a lot of the mind. So we see in psychology that a lot of people come with a lot of mind patterns, like a lot of pain and suffering. And this is, a lot of it is created by the mind. Yes, I don't want to simplify, because I also work with clients with trauma, childhood trauma and domestic abuse and human trafficking, some of them. So of course they have a lot of trauma. We all have a little bit of trauma, but there is a way to clean all of that with therapy, with Vedic counseling, with yoga, right? Okay. Let me check. Is everybody doing good? Because when I have my presentation open, I don't see everybody. I just want to make sure I'm letting people.
We can listen you. We can listen you.
Okay. Are you able to let people in, Dr. Vivek?
Yes, I can if they are waiting.
Okay, excellent. All right, so the 8 main aspects of life. This is a way of seeing the 8 limbs of yoga. It's like our main aspects of life according to these sages that came up with these. They said these are the most important aspects of ourselves. And if you don't attend to them, something's going to be unbalanced in your life. So these are the yamas. Well, I already mentioned these, but going into more detail. The yamas are the core principles and values in life. Niyamas are attitudes that can complement the yamas. Now we're going to go into detail with this. Asana is postures and exercise patterns. It's not only going to a yoga studio and do yoga, it's also breathing, it's also having a good posture, a straight spine so the energy can flow, all of that. Sitting properly, okay? The 4th area is pranayama. This is the use of prana, or breathing. Prana is also the vital energy or life force in ourselves and within. So through pranayama, breathing exercises and proper breathing technique, you can increase your energy, and not only increase your energy, but purify your mind and your organs, your internal organs. So pranayama is one of the key areas. I think Dr. Vivek is going to talk about that. because in Ayurveda, Ayurveda teaches us a lot about pranayama, how to manage these internal energies. About pranayama, you know, sometimes we say, well, how difficult can it be to breathe, right? It's just automatic. I don't even have to think about breathing. Yes, and that is part of the problem because it's part of the automatic system, breathing or like digesting. You don't have to do anything, it just happens. We don't pay attention to it. So we are not aware of our breathing. And sometimes we do shallow breathings and not deep breathings, which is the type of breathings that increase our energy, calm our mind, and purify our mind and body. Okay, the next one is pratyahara. This is the use of our senses and the consequences. So it's the proper use of our 5 senses and what happens if you don't use your senses properly. This means, for example, one of our senses is sight, right? The eyes. So we have to be selective with the things we see, or our hearing, another of the 5 senses. We have to be careful with things we put in our mind, in our ears, right? The music we hear, the videos we watch, the people we see, pictures we see, because all of this information goes to your mind, to your soul, to your spirit, and it has consequences. So we can choose what to see, what to hear, what to do for a better life. Okay, the next one is dharana, the next big branch of yoga, dharana. This is the proper placing and attention of our focus and concentration. And Dr. Vivek is going to talk about these two, I think. Yeah. And this is very important. Where do we place our attention? What things we concentrate on? Who do we give our attention, right? Like what kind of people are in your life? I'm sure you heard the saying that we are the average of the 5 persons we spend more time with, right? We are the average of the 5 persons we spend more time with. And if you spend time with people who don't bring a lot of value, not that people don't have value, everybody has value intrinsically, but you know, some people bring more knowledge to you, more meaningful life, or even challenge you to be a better person. The next one is dhyana. Dhyana is the proper management of our thoughts and our mental patterns. And this is what we call meditation in our modern culture in the West, right? So when people hear about meditation, they think it's very easy. It is not complicated, but is a very sophisticated step in human development to be able to sit for meditation for 30 minutes or 1 hour or more. Some people, I think they can do 4 hours meditation without breaking their concentration. So it's very, very interesting. And through meditation, we practice managing our thoughts, managing mental patterns, our breathing. So we incorporate everything. All the 8 limb paths of yoga are commingled, right? They go together. We can practice them in different times, but we keep them in mind together all the time. After dhyana or deep meditation is samadhi, and samadhi is an entire different presentation to talk about samadhi alone and all of these steps, but samadhi is the ultimate happiness based on liberation. So when you hear about liberated beings, enlightened souls, awakened people, when they are truly that advanced and they are awakened or enlightened, they achieve this ultimate happiness. They know their true selves, they have no fears, their mind is not agitated, they are in control of their thoughts. All of that we are going to learn today and I talk about. So these people, that's what we call samadhi, and it involves other things like raising your energy and high states of energy and awareness and consciousness. Okay, next is, okay, so I'm gonna go over the first 4 branches, all right? So like I said, the yamas is the number 1 branch, number 1 on the list. And a lot of people say it's number 1 on the list for a reason. So if you want to remember 5 principles in life that are gonna make you a more evolved soul, these are the 5 principles. And these are considered dharmic principles of right living for well-being. They are also called universal eternal principles. Uh, as you know, Dharma is considered the cosmic law, the eternal law that Hindus practice. Most of them practice this, coming from all these sources, Vedanta, the Upanishads, all of that, and consciousness. So these, why do we call them universal and eternal? Because they apply to everybody. It doesn't matter your religion, it doesn't matter how old you are, what country you live in, what is your race, your ethnicity, anything is universal. They apply to everyone. And how do we know this? Because if you follow these principles, you're going to have a better life and you're going to make a better life to those around you. And, you know, it's also common sense. Okay, so the 5 principles are ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, and aparigraha. Ahimsa is nonviolence, and also is the first one on the list because a lot of people believe and have studied, right, that without peace, nothing is possible, right? If you don't have a nonviolent approach to life, it's going to be very hard, very difficult, your life, and you make very difficult life to others. So nonviolence means nonviolence of action, nonviolence of thought, nonviolence in your word, in your approach to life, the way you treat others, right? Not offending people, not using harsh words or bad words to offend others that we don't even know them. Things like that. So this is a principle that is number 1. It's very, very important. Also includes respecting all life, no killing. This is where the vegetarian practice comes from in part. And not hurting other lives, non-violent in everything you do. And a lot of people ask, okay, so that means that if somebody is attacking me or somebody wants to kill me, I don't do anything? Well, no, right? Again, we have to apply common sense. And if somebody is attacking you or your family, life-threatening, right? Because we want to avoid violence at all costs until it's absolutely necessary. You can defend yourself, self-defense, but you don't act in your life through violence. We try not to. Okay, the next principle is Satya. If somebody has a question, you can chat the questions so you don't forget or write them down or a comment, and we'll keep an eye on questions. But we're gonna have questions at the end. Like 10, 15 minutes maybe. Okay, the next one, Satya, is truthfulness. And this is also very important for righteous living and social order, right? Telling the truth. Not only, also, we can also not tell the truth by omission, right? By not providing information that is key or is very important for someone to know. Lying to others constantly, you know, there are white lies that sometimes help. You know, if you can protect someone by hiding information, that's not that bad, but you get the idea, right? The main principle is to be truthful. Also, you know, truthful in terms of not wanting to pretend what you're not, and not saying things that you are not, or exaggerating your achievements. All of that is part of truthfulness. The next one is asteya, non-stealing. And sometimes these sound like the 10 commandments in Christianity, right, or Catholicism, and these are non-religions, right? Like, again, these are universal principles of righteous living, but a lot of religions adopt similar things, like no cheating, no lying, no stealing. Okay, so they are very important because it allows for social order and harmony. And not only that, all of these principles of yoga allow for you to not have an agitated mind, right? Like if you are nonviolent, if you try to tell the truth, if you don't steal other people's property or ideas or works, you're gonna have a peace of mind. Peace of mind. Okay, so non-stealing also includes that, right? Like non-stealing ideas. Like if you are saying something or writing a book, you give credit to the author, right? Or the author of a picture or a painting or a quote. So you don't adjudicate creative things to you. That's also part of non-stealing. The next one is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is integrity with sexuality. Can everybody hear me? Okay. So why integrity with sexuality is important? Okay, because sexuality is sacred, right? It's sacred, is for reproduction of the species, for procreation, and also for union, right, or enjoyment. But when we deviate from healthy sexuality to unhealthy sexuality, it can be very hurtful. Or using others for sex, you know, you're hurting others. Or letting yourself be used, right? Because it's like hurting your integrity as a human being. So it's good to just have integrity, right? Like do what makes you feel good. If you are comfortable with your sexual approach, as long as you're not hurting anyone, if you're an adult, you know, all those things. The next one is aparigraha. And this is the last principle of yama, and is non-hoarding. And non-hoarding is not accumulating excessive things. Why is this important? Again, because the more things you have, the more complicated your life becomes. The more worries you have, the more furniture you have, the more things you have to clean, the more things you have to protect and maintain, all of that, right? And a simple life is always recommended in the yogic life, a simple life. This is completely foreign to Western culture, right? And other cultures, many countries, but it's in our culture, everything is about consuming, right? Consuming, get the new car, get a larger house, show others that you're successful, get the best watch, you know, show your jewelry, all of that. And it's just accumulating things, material things that don't help in your spiritual path. They just add more baggage, right? The more things we have, the more baggage we have carrying on our shoulders. So it's good to have a practice of cleaning, you know, like we call spring cleaning, like things that you don't use, get rid of them. Don't get rid of them. Don't keep things that you don't use. So things like that. Okay, we're getting more people joining. All right, welcome everybody, those who are joining. We are keeping your mics muted, but we are having a room for questions at the end. Okay, number 2 is niyamas. Niyamas is the practice of, these are the complementary practices for the yamas. And these are for maximum inner and outer efficiency of life. Tapas, the first one, these are 5 also. Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishwara, Ranidhana, Sacha, and Santosha. Tapas is literally means fire, and it's applying heat or energy to improve ourselves. So this means that change is painful. Growing is hard. It hurts, right? I was talking to Dr. Vivek the other day about being polished at my work. So they are polishing me. They are correcting my mistakes, suggesting areas of improvement, and it hurts, right? But it makes you a better person, a better professional. So this is the fire. This is a fire of growth. And in the yoga practice, instead of pushing against pain and suffering, we see it as our practice, as a spiritual practice for improvement. And we see it as a fuel, right? Like the fire, like fuel to make us better, to improve ourselves. I don't know, another example is starting a yoga practice. Sometimes it hurts. I remember more than 10 years ago when I started doing yoga, when I was sitting on the floor for 20 minutes cross-legged, my bones were hurting, my hips. I was in so much pain. And over the years, it went away because your body adjusts. But that's the fire of growth, of trying new exercises, new ideas, also exploring new concepts. It's painful because it's pushing against our belief systems. Okay, so all of that, I see it as fire. Like instead of being afraid of it or pushing against it, use it for your own growth. Okay, the next niyama is swadhyaya. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is self-study and self-knowledge. And this is, wow, so important in my opinion. This is one of the main approaches to my counseling practice, self-knowledge. This doesn't mean knowledge of my personality or what colors do I like or what is my favorite food or my favorite sport. It's not like that exactly. Self-knowledge is who you really are inside. What is your essence, your core? And there is one essence to everyone, which is consciousness, the God essence, consciousness, universal consciousness. And this is why we hear in yoga a lot, we are all interconnected, right? We heard that many times, we are all interconnected. So what does that even mean? Like if you go deeper into that principle, is that we all come from universal consciousness. And when you see the world like that, the other practices become easier, like being nonviolent, saying the truth, etc. Because we are not defending our ego personality. We are just, we are cool, right? We are okay. And I know who I am inside. I hope that makes sense. I'm sure everybody knows this, but it's very interesting just to dive deeper into these concepts. The next one is Ishvara. Pranidhana is surrender. This is also very triggering for a lot of people in my community, at least when we share things about surrender. It's like, wait. Surrender means weakness, right? Do I need to surrender to everybody, to everything that happens to me? No. It's like we push against surrender. But this means really going with the flow, right? It's a different approach to life. There is an area of study among coaches and yogis in the United States and other parts of the world that talks about the law of attraction, right? We heard about the law of attraction. The law of attraction comes from yoga principles, right? There is nothing new about it. And that means that you attract what you are, you attract what you put out. So the principle of surrender is be soft like water. That's actually a Chinese principle. Soft like water. Let yourself carry with the current like a river. So when you are in a river, let's say you're in a boat in a river, we don't want to go against the current. That's going to be exhausting and non-productive, and you're probably going to die. So you want to just let yourself carry with this stream of the river, down the river. That is our destiny, right? That is an approach to life. And that is suggested by these wisdom teachings. Instead of pushing against, My internet is unstable. I hope it's not. Okay. So what happens when we surrender? We access higher knowledge. Okay, there are higher, lower, and lower currents of energy around us and within us. So the higher currents of energy helps us develop awareness and peace, right? And the lower currents of energy they bring more ignorance and more agitation to our mind. So when you push against things, it brings agitation, stress, excessive worry, depression, all the clinical terms, right? Modern psychology, anxiety, panic attacks, maybe schizophrenia. I don't know, that's going too far, but all of those anxiety, depression, that sometimes it could be for other reasons, but a lot of times is for not surrendering to our life circumstances. It is not mediocrity, because you can aim for changing your life circumstances if you don't like them. If you are in a terrible situation like abuse or suffering, of course you don't want to surrender to that. You want to get out of that situation, but you do it with a surrender approach, right? Like, at the moment I cannot do anything, so I'm going to accept it the way it is, but I'm going to keep planning to improve my life situation. But in this present moment, I'm not going to push against it, so I don't become agitated or anxious. Does that make sense? Yes? No? Nobody's paying attention? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Okay, the next one is Satya, is cleanliness. Okay, and this one is purity of mind and body. So it doesn't mean that you have to clean your body and shower every day, not necessarily, right? This is more like a deeper meaning of having a clean body. This may include being vegetarian, having a sattvic life. Sattva is also part of Ayurveda that Dr. Vivek knows very well. The sattvic mind is the ideal mind in yoga, right? It's a stable mind. And this also applies to your life approach, right? When we are sattvic in our life approach, we are more at peace, less violent, less worries. We don't have the need to defend, all of that. Vegetarian helps, right? It's not mandatory, but it is, according to wisdom teachings, is the best approach because it gives you a clean body. We don't have the life force of another human being inside of us digesting after killing that life. So that brings lower energies, it is believed. So being vegetarian is probably very good for cleaning your body and your mind, because our mind is connected to our body. So when you have a clean body, you are more likely to have a clean mind, less agitated. So everything we eat, this is why Ayurveda is very important as part of a Vedic approach, Vedic counseling and yoga lifestyle, because Ayurvedic nutrition is the expert science in providing the nutrition and medicine that your body needs to function maximum, right? And clean your body, right? Ayurveda, as everybody knows, the panchakarma, cleaning all the toxins of the body. The last one of the 5 niyama principles is contentment, santosha. My yoga teacher, Sherry Cherokee, says this a lot, right? Like, santosha is be happy for no reason, right? Just be happy. You don't need a reason to be happy. And sometimes it's hard to be just happy for no reason if you don't practice this, right? If you are used to do the opposite, if you are used to worry about everything or be afraid of a lot of things or complaining a lot, right? Complaining is a cycle of non-contentment, because complaining gives you more thoughts, more negative energy, and less santosha. So this is a good practice. Okay, we have another people joining. Okay. Hello, hello. All right. Thank you for joining. We are continuing with this. Okay. Okay. So also part of Santosha contentment is internal happiness. So in yoga, we come from a principle that happiness is inside of us. Happiness is internal. Nothing external is going to give you happiness. It may enhance it, but it's not going to make you happy, right? A partner is not going to make you happy if you are not happy within by yourself. A trip is not going to make you happy if you're not happy within, right? Because you take your mind with you everywhere you go. You take your mind with your relationships. You take your mind on your trips. You take your mind on everything. So it's very important to learn to be happy by yourself. And then you can give to others more when you're happy. All right. It's 10 to 11. I think we're doing good, right, Dr. Vivek? Yes? Okay, continue. Number 3 is asana. Asana is yoga exercise. This is the movement of yoga, yoga asanas, yoga postures. This is for physical health and right orientation of the body. And when we do yoga, so many benefits of yoga, right? It increases bone density because it strengthens the muscles, and the bones need to grow to hold the strength of the muscles. So it's very good for women because sometimes women become deficient in vitamin D and osteoporosis and all of that. So yoga is fantastic for health. In Ayurvedic lifestyle and nutrition also, it can be incorporated with a yoga practice, and combined with other techniques like pranayama, like the breathing techniques, the other branch of yoga, improves health and enhances physical, emotional, psychological well-being. I'm sure everybody knows the many benefits of yoga. I just mentioned a few, but the exercise combined with breathing, right? It calms the mind. It makes people less agitated, probably less violent if we are working on our other practices. I have seen people transforming when they start doing yoga, transforming completely, changing their diet to vegetarian, not because they are told to do that, but because they try it and they feel much better. They feel that lightness of body and digestion and cleanliness. Also, the mind gets less agitated, more purified, and it's a great exercise, right, for flexibility and longevity. Okay, so we are in pranayama. Is this your turn, Dr. Vivek?
You can talk about it, and then after you talk about the basic pranayama, then I can talk on the rest of the topics.
Okay, thank you.
And after that, we can have a break. After you finish with pranayama, then I will join.
Okay. So the number 4 big branch of the limbs of yoga is pranayama. And pranayama is breathing. It's commonly known as breathing. Uh, Prana means life force or breath. And yama is suspension or cessation. And other people joining, Stephanie. Okay, so we are not gonna stop breathing, right? Like this is the literal translation, but what this means is that we learn to regulate the breath, to breathe properly. We become masters of our breathing, and by doing that, you enhance your inner energies. And even the way you present yourself to others is going to be way different if your breathing is stable and is in control. It's not constrained. It's like it's flowing freely, and it's calming your mind, and it's calming your body, your gestures, everything. I have observed people who are very agitated and very unaware of themselves. They are completely unaware of themselves. You know, you can see it very clearly. They are not conscious of what they're doing. They are just doing things automatically. And I have observed their breathing is agitated. And that tells me that their thoughts are running crazy, right? And I know a person particularly, confidentiality always, I'm not going to say who, but it's a person I care about, but very agitated, right? There a lot of thoughts, a lot of negative thoughts. So her breathing is agitated. So if you are a counselor or a professional or a teacher, that's a good thing to keep in mind for your students, because if you notice that agitated breathing and disconnect, like they are not aware, they don't take deep breathings, right, to calm themselves. That's self-regulation. You can approach that, right, and address that, or suggest ways of doing that better for their health. So pranayama, prana as the life force is crucial in yoga, right? In these yogic principles, because everything is life force, everything around you, inside of you, around you, in the universe, in others. We exchange energy when we are together. Even your thoughts are energy. So the breath regulates all of that. And we don't see it that way. Nobody teaches us that. The pranayama is usually practiced with yoga asanas, with the exercise, and that combination is very powerful, like I mentioned before. Proper breathing strengthens the mind and body connection, so that means that we become aware of our thoughts and aware of ourselves, self-aware, right? Instead of being disconnected, we are connected, we are balanced, and all of this is achieved with all of these practices, especially pranayama and self-awareness. It promotes relaxation and awareness. Ayurveda shows techniques for the proper use of prana. So as you can see, all of these sciences of yoga are connected. Yoga, Ayurveda, Vedic astrology too. And Raya Yoga shows techniques of for the psychological use of prana. So Raya Yoga is just another way to call yoga of the mind. I think it was revived by Swami Vivekananda, right? More than 100 years ago. And yeah, it's just the mastering of your mind. So this is more like the psychological aspect of ourselves, and it is connected to our breathing. So our breathing and our awareness of being through the breath and through presence. Okay, so that's that about pranayama. Do you want me to stop sharing, Dr. Vivek?
You can continue for next also, then I will repeat on the practical use of pranayama and other things.
Oh, okay, I continue.
Hope we have time and good quality of time is possible.
Okay, so the next one is Pratyahara. Okay, this is the fifth large branch of yoga, the 8 limb paths. We are on number 5. Pratyahara is the right use of mind and the senses. It means withdrawal of the 5 senses from the external world, or at least that's the goal of Pratyahara. Turning inward, it's you can see it as preparation for dharana, for concentration, and deep meditation called dhyana in the branches of yoga. Withdrawing the senses is important. Controlling the senses is very important. We can see it as a step to meditation, because it is very difficult for a regular person like us to sit in meditation and achieve perfect concentration, right? Sometimes we get frustrated because it's like, I cannot sit for more than 10 minutes. But that's because we need to develop these practices in this order, preferably. Controlling your senses first, withdrawing. So you are not going to be, that's why we close our eyes in meditation, or almost closed. Some people have them like one quarter open, looking at the floor, but you are not overstimulating your eyes, your vision, no visual stimulation, no hearing, no smell, if possible, and no touch, right? So you are completely still and trying to train your senses to withdraw. So you need awareness and practice to do that. This is when a teacher is helpful, because sometimes we don't know how to do it. So an experienced teacher can guide you. And once okay, so that's concentration. Ayurveda also provides sensory therapies like aromatherapy or color therapy or massages. You know, all of that is very sensory, but it also appeases the senses, relaxes the mind, and that is a very good practice, Ayurvedic treatments, to become more professional in concentration and pratyahara and all of that. So we use our senses when it's necessary, right? And I know of spiritual teachers who are quite advanced in their spiritual practice, and you notice, we learn how to observe people who are advanced, spiritually mature, and in their spiritual practices. So you can notice how they use their senses when it's necessary. They are not agitated, right? They are not distracted. They are concentrated. They are not overly stimulated. They are not on their phone all the time, multitasking. So all of this is a practice of pratyahara. And there is a saying that you are a master of your ship and you are the captain of your soul. When you learn to master your senses, your breathing and concentration, you become the master of your life. Okay. So that's interesting, right? Like we usually are taught that we are masters of our life when we push against things, right? Or we get our way, but it's really not. It's really, we become masters of our life when we master ourselves, not others. When we master ourselves. Okay, next one is, number 6 is dharana. This is the 6th big branch of yoga. So dharana is concentration and focus. So after withdrawing the senses, learning how to manage our senses properly, only using the senses when it's necessary, this is also going to give us a lot of energy, right? For example, talking, it's tremendous release of energy or waste of energy. That's why talk therapy, calling psychology, is very effective, because people are releasing energy by talking, and mind energy, right? Releasing, putting their feelings in words. So that's therapeutic. However, also, when we talk excessively, it can be a drainage of energy. So, for example, I do public speaking for a living for my work, and sometimes I talk 4 presentations in a day in different places, and I'm exhausted. And I know I'm tired because of the speaking. Of course, mentally tired to having to perform, do a good job, yes, but it's also for talking, right? I'm using my breath and I'm using my energy outwards to express my thoughts, express what I have to tell. That's a lot of energy. So when we are concentrated, that dharana is concentration and focus, is attention to the proper things and people in life also. That is very important. Like I said before, I'm sure everybody noticed that sometimes people distract you, right? How frustrating is that? Sometimes people distract you from your goals, from who you really are, for where you want to go. Sometimes people demand your attention and your time, and they're just really wasting your time and your attention. So this is all part of the practice of concentration, right? Focus on your goal, on your mission. And this doesn't mean to be selfish or ignore other people, but learning to say no No, right? I'm not going to do that, or I'll do it later, to reserve your energy for what you need to do. And this is very hard for moms. You know, I notice moms with new babies or young children, it's very difficult. No judgment, right? It's just an observation that is difficult for them. They tell me, they tell us to, they have to attend family, babies. Sometimes they work at the same time, and so much energy. Yes, and they have no time to concentrate on focus on what they want. So this is where self-advocacy is so important in psychology and well-being, to be able to say, no, I don't have time right now, I'll get back to you, etc. Right? Okay. And concentration is very interesting. I love this topic because it's also related to positive psychology. How many of you heard of positive psychology? I don't know if we have any psychologists or counselors here, but positive psychology is the study of the things that make human beings happy and having a meaningful life. So one of the key teachings of positive psychology is the ability to concentrate in your work or your mission or your project, right? Let's say that you have a gardening project. So that's why so many people love gardening, because they get lost in gardening, right? Or their pots at home, growing plants, painting, athletes, you know, they talk a lot about being in the zone, right? Have you heard about that? Being in the zone, that means they get lost, right? When they are like athletes competing with each other, like on a running race, for example, in the Olympics, you don't see athletes looking behind to see where the other is, right? That's distracting. They are just laser focused on achieving their goal to reach the end of the race. That is part of focus and concentration. And that's the approach that these wisdom teachings tell us to aim for, right? Like once you have identified your passion in life, go full on that, right? All your focus and concentration on that. If you say, I love teaching, I love doing yoga, give it your all, right? Not just half, your all, concentration, focus. So that is going to help you be in the zone and forget about your problems, right? Forget about the little me mind, poor me, I suffer so much, why is this happening to me? Yes. So as you can see, these principles go so deep, right? When we study them, it's not just concentration. Okay, is what is the consequence of concentrating in your life? It's incredible. It's life changing. So yeah, try to get lost in what you do. Some people like writing in a journal because that's therapeutic. We use that in counseling and psychology. Writing in a journal because you are connecting your mind and body with writing and thinking your thoughts, and you are concentrating at the same time and getting lost in the writing. So it's therapeutic. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go to the next. Okay, we're almost done. Wow, it's only 11. Am I going too fast? No, it's good. We're going to open it for questions. Yes.
Fine. We're going fine.
Okay.
I'm going to explain everything, and we can have a post-tea session on explaining things from treatment protocol point of view.
Okay. If everybody needs a break, you can take a break. All right, the next one is Diana. So this one is deep meditation. It serves as therapy to clear the mind from excessive thinking. And in yoga, we call excessive thinking or movements of the mind, they are called vrittis. And we talk about these in more detail in our introduction to yoga psychology, what vrittis are, samskaras, all of these. Brittis are called the movements of the mind, right? When people have racing thoughts, excessive thinking, excessive worry, that leads to anxiety, depression, and other conditions. All of that is called Brittis. And then accumulation of Brittis can produce samskaras, patterns, thought patterns, right? So this is so important to understand and to experience, right? When you catch yourself thinking too much, like you cannot stop your thoughts, you're gonna notice how it's a circle that fits in itself, right? The more you think about a problem, the larger it becomes, and the larger it becomes. When you share your problem with your friends, the larger it becomes. You create a monster, right? Like a snowball. And also something fascinating about yoga is samskaras, because these are the thought patterns of all the thought accumulations, but they also can be created or influenced by accumulation of past experiences, right? Which is a topic in psychology, childhood trauma, childhood adverse experiences, generational trauma, generational pain. These are concepts that we learn in psychology. And this means that we are not just one human being living right now, right? We inherit a lot of patterns from other generations, from our ancestors. And how do we know that? Because it's energy, right? Thoughts are energy. And the energy is a law of physics. It's not created or what is it? Energy is not created or eliminated, but it's just transformed. So it's there always. It has to go somewhere. So samskaras is that. And why is this important in meditation in dhyana? Because dhyana has been proven to clean the mind from vrittis, right? Clean the mind from samskaras. So if we are one of those people who think, oh, there's no hope for me, I'm doomed, my life is a disaster, I come from a poor family, all the generations in my family were poor, they were mistreated, probably that's true, but you have the power to transform that in your life, right? And this is what I try to transmit to people a lot, that you have the power to transform that. You are not a victim in your life. Maybe you are for a moment when you're suffering and you're in pain and you're stuck in that, yes, but you can transform it with the right help, with the right practices. And meditation is one technique, right, to clean the mind from those thought patterns, from energy transferred from generation to generation. Also culturally, right? Let's say that you are born in a country who was enslaved 50 years ago by colonizers, and all your family suffer that. You are going to have that in your mind patterns, right? You inherit that energy, but you can get rid of it. You can transform it. Isn't that incredible to know that? I think it is. And other techniques also help to clean your thoughts, clean your also karma, that's part of our karma, what we inherited from other lives, from our ancestors. And meditation helps clean that. When we go into dhyana, this is deep meditation, okay? This is like advanced meditation. What we are trying to achieve when we say, I meditate 30 minutes every day, we are really attempting to get into dhyana, right? That's how I see it. So it's great. Just trying is a wonderful practice. From the control of the breath, withdrawal of the senses, concentration, focus, dhyana, all of that is a healing practice, all of those steps. And okay, so meditation also illuminates the mind as you focus your attention within. This is there are many, many types of meditation, right? It gets complicated because somebody else joining, okay? So I'm sure you heard about different types of meditation. You know, there's transcendental meditation, walking meditation, silent meditation, vipassana meditation, okay? Can everybody mute themselves, please, to avoid a background noise? Or Dr. Vivek, can you mute everyone? Or the people who are joining? Okay. I hear someone talking. Can everybody mute themselves, please? Hello. If you just joined, can you please put your mic off? Dr. Vivek, I hear someone talking and I cannot talk at the same time. Can you mute everybody, please?
Claudia, I'm trying to mute the person.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you so much. That's good. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, it's very distracting. It's like talking at the same time to people. Okay. Where was I? Okay, so many types of meditation. I'm not going to go over that because it's a very long topic, but in essence, the practice of meditation helps with cleaning mind patterns, thought patterns, impurities of mind, fears. Okay, so when we say the practice of meditation illumines the mind, this is the most common practice of meditation for cleaning the mind is concentrating on those thoughts that arise and you put them down. So we for example say, you don't repress your thoughts, right? You don't repress your feelings. You observe them. So we are not repressing. We are simply allowing, surrendering, not feeding those thoughts with more energy, right? So this is why meditation is so good, because instead of going and telling all your friends about your problem and making more negative energy, you use meditation to suppress the drama, right? The drama of the negative emotions and feelings that we all have from time to time. And concentrating on the thoughts. A good example is to think about a blue sky. The blue sky is consciousness, right? It's like the background of a screen movie, the screen. That's consciousness. Your thoughts are the clouds that pass through the sky. And sometimes they are white clouds, sometimes they are gray clouds or black or thunderstorm or tornadoes, you know. We all have those thoughts, right? Some of them can be very scary, very intimidating. But as long as you stay as the blue sky behind those thoughts, behind those clouds, that is the best explanation I heard in my life, right? In psychology and yoga to control your thoughts. So let's say that you are afraid of flying. So you can also do these in your life. You don't have to sit for meditation, right? Let's say that you have to take an airplane, and you are very afraid of flying. So you let the thought come. You don't suppress it. You don't negate it. You don't say, oh, I'm good. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm afraid of flying. But you're not going to feed that thought with more thoughts. And what if the plane crashes? And what if the pilot is drunk? And what if the airplane has a malfunction? So that is feeding your fear, the negative thoughts. So observe them and see them like clouds. Okay, this is gonna pass, and the thought passes. It sounds easy, but it is possible with practice. Millions of people do it very successfully, so you can do too. Okay, and dhyana meditation also allows direct knowledge from higher intelligence. Okay, this is advanced yoga. I know everybody here is advanced yoga, right? Yoginis and yogis and teachers. Okay, so we know, like I said at the beginning, we know that the sages and rishis and rishikas of India, they started getting knowledge through meditation, connecting with cosmic intelligence, with universal order, with universal principles, and they experience them. It's not just dogma, right? It's not just we're gonna come up with a book of principles to keep people in order. It's like, I experienced this and I know to be true because it works, right? And these are applicable to everyone in the world, and the world needs to know. So they started putting all these principles in writing. So one of them is accessing knowledge through meditation. Because what happens? Think about it. When you go withdraw your senses, Pratyahara, control your breath, you calm your mind, pranayama, you go into dharana, concentrating on your meditation, and you start illuminating your mind, analyzing your mind. And the mind is not the same as the brain. Okay, in modern psychology, modern medicine, the concept of the brain, we take for granted that the mind is a product of the brain. In part it is, but it is not all that, right? And in yoga, there is a vast scientific knowledge about the mind that is not part of the brain. So you're not acquiring knowledge through intellect, through the brain, right? Through the prefrontal cortex, which is the front of the brain who helps you think, rationalize, thinking logically. So that is, we look at it as separate sources of knowledge. So we can acquire knowledge through reading, through the intellect, through the mind, through going to school, through being logic, answers and questions, what I call, some people call knowledge questions. And that's okay. But there is another source of knowledge that nobody teaches us, and that is direct knowledge from higher intelligence. And we can acquire that through advanced stages of meditation when we quiet the logic brain. So this is more like intuitive. And we already do that, right? That's what intuition is. When you say, I just have a feeling about it, I don't know what it is. I didn't read it in a book. Nobody told me, but I have a feeling about it, right? That is your intuition talking to you. But what happens with intuition or your instinct, that it is suppressed since you are a little boy or a little girl, right? How many times we are small children and we say something, I don't know, like, I want to be an astronaut. And our parents say, that's crazy, you should not be thinking about that. Or imaginary friends, a lot of children they see friends and they talk to people. So it sounds crazy, but we are now understanding that children are more able to connect with higher intelligence, with other sources of knowledge that is not in the books, because they don't have a lot of garbage in their mind. They don't have a lot of vrittis. They don't have a lot of samskaras developed yet. Maybe a few from other lives, but not as much as a 30-year-old adult or a 40-year-old adult. So that is very interesting, right? Like through meditation, we can acquire knowledge and intelligence. So like, for example, we know a lot of people who are very humble. They don't go to school. They are maybe, I don't know, people who live in rural areas, farmers. They are very wise. Yeah, even when they're young boys, like 20s, 30s, some of them are very, very wise. And they have this intelligence that is not in the books. Okay. All right, so next one, we are almost done. Thanks everybody for your patience and listening, and thanks for joining. The last step of the branches of yoga, or the 8-link path of yoga, is samadhi. Okay, how many of you heard about samadhi? Thumbs up, raise your hand. Dr. Vivek heard about samadhi. Okay, samadhi is a very complex topic. It's the ultimate yogic goal. Is the ultimate goal of a spiritual practice. Not necessarily, right? Some people don't necessarily want to achieve samadhi. Samadhi has been described, it's an experience. So it's hard to put on paper with words, but it has been described as liberation, freedom, joy, complete happiness. The person is not slave of their fears. They have no fears anymore. They have no fear of death. They don't have an agitated mind. They have accomplished all of the steps, right? Like they know how to do proper breathing. They know how to concentrate in the right things. They have a righteous approach to life. They are non-violent. They are not agitated. They are at peace. All of that is preparing us for the ultimate goal, samadhi, right? Not all of us get there in a lifetime or many lifetimes, but it's no pressure. You know, you don't have to achieve that, but it is possible. A lot of people have documented their experiences in writing or through verbal lessons transferred to their disciples or their people around them. So we also refer to non-duality in samadhi. That is a principle of Advaita Vedanta, which is non-duality, is that we are not separate from the God principle. We are not separate from the universe. We are not separate from universal consciousness. We are just one. So in a way, within us, we are spirit. And if you want to go far, we are gods and goddesses, right? And this is also controversial in my community, because if you say I'm God, it's like, what did you drink, right? Are you taking any drugs? But they don't understand what we mean, right? With that is it's not ego-based, or you don't say it. Actually, people who attain samadhi, they don't say it. We don't share those experiences because it's internal. It's an individual process. You can share if you want to document it, but so that's the feeling. It's a feeling of unity. You don't feel alone. You don't feel separated from anyone. You love everyone. That's the feeling that they describe. Okay. And samadhi gives you liberation. That's why we call it liberation from pain. You are not, maybe there's pain in your life, because life is pain sometimes. But in yoga, there's a principle that says pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, right? Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. I think that's a fantastic way to see life. You're gonna have painful moments, painful experiences, but it is up to you how much you suffer, right? How quickly you get rid of it, how quickly you get help to improve yourself. And also samadhi brings us up on the cycle of rebirth. If you believe in reincarnation, like Buddhist practices or yogic practices in Hinduism, as the cycle of rebirth and birth, and it liberates you from that when you achieve samadhi. Like, you don't have to come back to a physical body in this life or other lives, and because you are a soul, you're a spirit, and you have realized that. So sometimes people who achieve samadhi, they come back as avatars, right? Like, it's like reincarnations of the supreme, the God principle. So a lot of people mention, like, who has achieved samadhi that we know? Well, the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, is one to be believed. There's a very strong foundation. That's why he created an entire religion, the Buddha, because he achieved samadhi. he dedicated his entire life to meditation, right? He left the luxury of his home. He was a prince in northern India from a very rich family. His father wanted him to be a prince, and he said, no, thanks, I have another mission. And he went to the forest. I mean, I'm summarizing a long life, to meditate, and he attained the end of suffering. So that is the branch of Buddhism. It's the same in Hinduism, right? It's uh, the same principles. I think Buddhism and Hinduism developed like two branches at the same time, and they got separated a little, but the core principles are very similar. Okay, so that is the end of cycle of rebirth. And who else has achieved samadhi that has reincarnated in other God principles? They say Jesus Christ, if you believe in Catholicism, if you're a Christian. He was a very enlightened being, a very special man, very dedicated to the inner energies. And it is believed that he did meditation and that he reincarnated in different lives, etc. But that's another topic. And who else? Well, many realized beings in India. India has produced the highest number of realized beings, which that tells us something about these dharmic principles, that they are really effective for quality of life and realization and liberation from pain and suffering. Um, there are several recognized sages that have attained these, I don't know, like Ramana Maharishi, um, Sri Ramakrishna, many others. Okay, that's all I have. And I was gonna open for questions, but Dr. Vivek, you wanna add something? You must be tired, Dr. Vivek. What time is it in India?
I'm not tired. It's 10 in the night. I will check. It's just 10 in the evening.
Okay.
After a small break, we should ask the participants if they want to have a practical aspect on these, then I will start. If it is enough for a day, then I think so it is good enough.
Okay, so we wanna have a small break, like a tea break, and come back?
We need answer from the participants on this. People can start their speakers and respond, please.
Sorry, Dr. Vivek, do we wanna have a break or do we continue? I think everybody needs a break, like 10 minutes?
Yes, there should be a break, and after 10 minutes, if there are enough participants, then we will continue.
Yeah, nobody's going anywhere. They're gonna stay for the question. Okay, we'll see you in 10 minutes.
Yes, see you then. Claudia ji,
Yes.
allow me to share screen that is in your hand.
Try now. Okay, is everybody back? Dr. V, can you share your screen now?
Can you invite few more people to join on camera? Is it possible for a few more people to join on camera so that we can see how many people are there?
Well, I asked them to open their cameras, but it's up to them.
Yes. Judith ji is there. Judith ji, namaste and welcome. You can
Thank
unmute
you.
yourself. This motivates if people are present on screen.
Yeah.
Yes. Glenn, are you back? Glenn, are you back?
Yeah, I see
Yes.
her.
Yes. Yes, but I want to talk, say hello to her also. Once again, hello to everyone. And Claudia ji was talking about 8 limbs of yoga. He has given me an assignment to talk about how this wisdom of 8 limbs of yoga given by our forefathers as a tool for developmental psychology, as a tool to grow and evolve as a human being. This is the best ever treatise written on positive developmental psychology. And read and spread like that. But in today's society, there is a big need for psychological therapeutic tool to heal the psychologically sick people also. If this 8 limbs of yoga can be used of for those sick people also, or is it a tool for only healthy and happy people to evolve better? Our understanding say yes, there is a lot in this to help socially sick people, the mentally sick people, to use these 8 tools to get better mental health, leading to better physical and spiritual health also. So Claudia has explained all the limbs of yoga. She has explained that how Yama, the social discipline, is a huge developmental tool by practicing non-violence, truthfulness, not stealing, control on urges, and not to have possessiveness, one can be improving his or her life a lot. But same is are the opposite of this are the traits which can make you sick also. Claudia, I will take one more minute to upload the right presentation. I think so. I have uploaded the not so right presentation. Give me a minute to upload the right presentation.
Okay.
Please
No
allow.
problem. Yes, yes. Take your time.
I have uploaded this similar looking, but not the right presentation.
Okay. Anybody wants to share what you heard so far, something that interests you or you found interesting? Well, Dr. Vivek shares the presentation. Feel free to open your mic and comment something that caught your attention, was interesting, you have tried. Or would like to try.
Hi, Claudia.
Hello.
I was thinking about what you said regarding that talking. I do agree that when you talk in the same way with the same frame of mind, you are just making it bigger, growing stronger. What's like ruminating among always around the same problem. But when you are able, that it's connected, it's the same thing you say, but it seems kind of contradictory, but it is not. You said when you write, when you take it off and you are able to see it from a different point of view of reframing the experience, it's kind of liberating.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of I don't know, like for me it took a time to see, to understand, because some people say, no, don't talk, yes, talk. Why it works sometimes and why other times it's kind of detrimental and just reinforces the same pattern. It depends on if you are looking always from the same point of view, or you are able to take a slightly different one.
Yeah. Thank you, Judith. Yeah, that's very true. Okay. Yeah. I agree. I think it's important to have a balance with not engaging too much on a circle of negative thoughts, but also not repressing them. And sometimes writing about them is therapeutic, or talking about them. But at some point you have to move on. So that's the progress.
Yeah, you progress and you move.
Yeah, you share it, you acknowledge it, and then plan to move on, right?
Sure.
It's hard, but it is possible, I think.
Yeah.
Judith, you made a very appropriate comment. I'm back. So,
hi, Vivek.
Yes, Claudia ji was talking about the yama and niyams. Yama we talked about. Then there are niyams, which are the way of the social conducts, that we should be maintaining cleanliness. We should be content with our wishes. We should have austerity. We should not be too much indulgent. We should have some self-study, means introspective nature, and we should have some surrender to the God, means considering a energy better than my energy, considering a force which is better than who I am. And that is true, because as we are not the complete human beings, and there is definitely someone who can, who has, who is the master of the show. So the yama and niyams are wonderful developmental methodologies. You practice them and you make your life better. But if you see just opposite of that is vitark. When I say that be non-violent, I'm asking Judith to be more gentle. But the opposite of the non-violence is violence. In this way, when I'm saying being non-violent, I'm protecting Judith to not to be violent. And you know, the violence means cannot be practiced without the emotion of fear or anger. And fear and anger both are the most negative biochemistries. And when there is fear or anger in the body, the chemical secretions in the body are all negative, giving you palpitation, giving you fast heartbeat, giving you perspiration, giving you restlessness, giving you a sinking feeling. And that creates a negative biochemistry and negative psychological patterns in your mind. So when I'm saying being non-violent, I'm protecting you from all those reasons of biochemistry created by fear and anger to create mental and physical sickness in you. Judaism, you are getting it? So in this way, the practicing non-violence is a therapeutic tool to protect you from the negative biochemistry, the negative mental patterns, psychological patterns created by the emotion of the fear, anger, and sometimes disgust also. And in modern medicine, they give you a tranquilizer to balance that biochemistry. So taking a lorazepam or being more loving could have the same benefit. If you need a tranquilizer to take care of your anger or fear and you love people, that can be the same therapeutic effect rather than taking a alprazolam or a tranquilizer. The second was that always speaking truthfulness. The opposite, if you don't speak truth, it means I'm lying most of the time. If I'm lying most of the time, to lie, you always stumble. You always have a fear that Claudia will come to know that I'm, my gaze is different, my hands are sweating, and you know that I'm doing something fishy, something wrong, and that is creating a negative biochemistry in me. So when yoga psychology chapters say be non-violent, be truthful, it is saving you from the negative biochemistry being created by violence and being untruthful. The next is control on urges, the next yama. Now see the opposite. If you don't control your urges or proper control of senses, it means you are overindulging. How we can overindulge? There are only 5 senses. You see, you touch, you smell, you taste, and you listen. And if you overindulge in seeing, you will go crazy. What is Instagram and what is Facebook and multiple pictures shown to us all of the time? How much data it creates in your head that you cannot resolve? You have too many files open in your head. The visual overload, we say the visual overload. The visual overload is one of the biggest reason of the mental sickness as the yoga and Ayurveda psychology understands. There is a limited, storage capacity and file processing capacity in your head that how many visual you can manage. You're overindulging in seeing, or you are overindulging in taste, or you are overindulging in smell, or you are underindulging, or you are wrongly indulging. You have a too much visualization, or you are visualizing pornography. Both will create a negative biochemistry in your head. Understandable? So when they say do proper use of senses, they are saving you from improper use of senses for the overindulgence, underindulgence, and misindulgence in the senses. All three, over, under, and misindulgence, will create sickness, physical as well as mental. It could be the visual, it could be the smell, it could be the taste. You're taking too much of the sugar. This is overindulgence. Or you're taking too much of the bitter, or you're taking too much of the salt, or you are listening too much, or you are listening whole of the day, the adrenaline increasing voices like the sound of Metallica or Lady Gaga. So it will give you so much kick in your head that you will go restless. To enjoy a concert of Metallica, you need 3 beers and 2 marijuana to, do who and half or whole of the night. And you get a restless and anxiety and insomnia out of it. So this is misuse of your listening, and same way not listening and too much listening. So when the second yama is being talked about, third yama, proper use of senses, the author is trying to save you from the improper use of senses. Next comes the stealing. They said, don't take anything which doesn't belong to you. These days, you know, we the modern people, like all of you ladies on screen, we don't need to teach you don't steal. You will never steal. What you will never steal? You will not steal a pen or a mobile or a car or some money. But we do steal. We do steal when there is no appreciation due, we try to steal it. When there is no recognition due, we try to steal it. When I'm putting 100 pictures of me on Instagram, I am stealing the attention from you, which is not deserved to me. When I say, Claudia, whatever I say, you have to say me, Vivek, you are nice. So I'm expecting too much. So that is also stealing. Stealing respect more than you deserve, stealing attention more than you deserve, stealing resources more than you deserve. It is also stealing. So when the last is the excessive attachment, which is the yama is detachment. The excessive attachment to anything. You know, the excessive attachment to this gadget, what we call your iPhone 7s, can make any youngster go crazy. The excessive attachment to your possessions, your material possessions, your gadgets, or your beloveds, or even to your liking or disliking, or even to your emotions can be sickening. Claudia, you are getting what I'm trying to share?
Yes. Yes.
So that is also excessive attachment. I like this, and everything revolves around my liking. And world should revolve around my liking. That is also what we call excessive attachment, possessiveness. So possessiveness, violence, falsehood, improper use of senses, and stealing whatever is not due to you is hugely sickness. When Claudia was saying opposite of that, it was looking like that she is giving us a tool for Judith and Glenn to become the devas, to become the goddesses. But in a hidden message, these are the tools for Judith, Glenn, Claudia and me not to become mentally and emotionally and physically sick also. They have seen things in a positive manner. The modern psychology is written by Carl Jung and Freud, the psychology for sick person. These people were writing psychological chapters in Sattvic time by Sattvic people, by spiritual people for spiritual people. They were writing it as a developmental psychological tool. But by the understanding the opposite of that, so they were not selling you fear, they were selling you the positivity. So opposite of that is negativity, what they were selling you, do good, be gentle, don't do violence, to evolve you. And they didn't told you that if you don't do it, you deteriorate also. Claudia ji, you don't do violence, you evolve. But you be violent, you deteriorate or you go to jail also.
Yeah.
You say always truth, you evolve. But you don't say truth, you deteriorate also. Getting my point? You get anxiety neurosis also. If Judith is always telling truth to everyone, to her partner, to her boss, to her colleague, she is already always fearful and restless. Oh, someone will come to know my truth. So that give you restless, give you palpitation, give you anxiety neurosis, insomnia. You may end in a mental hospital if you are always telling false. So if you're always telling false, you are always violent, you are always overindulging, You're always seeking things which are not, you know, you don't deserve. It means you are writing a recipe for you to be physically and mentally sick in due course of time. A good psychologist, a good psychological care provider can foresee, can see what patterns you are living with and in how much time you will be damaging your physical and mental health and what will be outcome. You are always violent, then I can give, you are always angry, that I can give you a recipe, Claudia, in 3 years time you will have anxiety neurosis and you will be taking a medication for hypertension. And if you will not stop it, you may need a tablet for your insomnia also. Because we know that this emotion is creating this biochemistry and it will lead to what? So in this way, all the yamas are gentle medicines, non-chemical medicines, non-herbal medicines, non-material medicines. The medicine is not always what you swallow. These are medical tools. They are therapeutic medical tools to make you, firstly, to protect you from physical and mental health disorders, and if you have, then give you relief from physical and mental health issues. I think so I'm able to make my point. So this is what we call protecting yourself from practicing yama. The second is the niyam. To keep yourself pure is the niyam. See the opposite of that, impurity. You maintain it. The first chances of you is these days to get coronavirus, true, or tuberculosis, or cough and cold. The second is be content. You don't be content. The opposite of that is be greedy. And you practice greed for few days. What you become? You become Donald Trump. Greedy to be always in power. Come what may. So I need more, I need more, I need more. And how much the world hates you and how much you have to manage yourself by being greedy. The next is austerity, means to seek that much what comes to you naturally. Opposite of that is non-austerity. The next niyam is to have a learning attitude. Learning not by knowing, learning not by reading, writing, speaking, or listening. When we say learning, we think there are only 4 tools: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. This is knowing. The learning by perceiving, the learning by introspection, the learning by experience. So they are saying that you should have a habit of learning by perceiving, by intuition. But when we say learning, we say reading, writing, listening, and speaking only. Learning by introspection. And the next they say, we have less ego, which is a niyam. The opposite of that is to have excessive ego, means to have a false ego. What is a false ego? That a man has 3 personalities: what he thinks he has, what others think he has, and what he really has. And we always give us a scope of liberty to think of ourselves better than what we are. If I steal a little bit, oh, Claudia was having 1,000,000. If I have taken a pen, doesn't matter. If Claudia do something wrong, it's a crime. If I do something wrong, it's a mistake. Claudia, you are getting my point? So, what is the excessive ego? To consider yourself better than what you are. That is a false ego. Only those people will have this attitude who don't have some time to contemplate and introspect. The contemplation and introspection is a tool which helps you not to have ego than what you are. The next third limb of 8 limbs of yoga is asana. I will not spend a lot of time on it because all of us are quite familiar that how asanas are useful to make our physical health better, make our anmaya kosha, our structural body better, and creates a foundation for other layers of the body, the prana body, the energy body, and the mental body to have a sound foundation. Because a healthy physical body is a foundation for the other layers of the body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the prana body, to have a living space, to have a foundation to make your life complete. And the next tool for management of physical and mental health in Yoga Psychological Chapter is the pranayama. Claudia explained the pranayama well. I will say just one line about it is that pranayama means the conscious breathing. By conscious breathing, what we understand is, if someone tell me that out of the 8 limbs of the yoga, which for the common practitioner, which limb is the most beneficial for your physical and mental health, I will name it as a pranayama. Reason. The first, I will give you 4 perspectives. The first perspective I am sharing with you is, Jodeci, we have only and only one function in our body which is run by conscious mind and as well as the subconscious. What is this subconscious? Is your autonomic nervous system, your cranial nerves. You are sleeping, your breath is going on. You are in an orgasmic pleasure, your breath is going on. You are angry, your breath is going on. And you are in a coma, your breath is going on. True? Right? But this is the only function of the body which can be taken from the subconscious and given to the conscious. The only function. Your heartbeat cannot be, your liver function cannot be, your intestinal movement cannot be, your gallbladder secretions cannot be. Major functions of the body are being run by your subconscious, your cranial nerves. Only one function of the body, which is the prime function of the body, can be taken from the subconscious and given to the conscious. How it makes our life beautiful. When you take away the job from the subconscious and given to the conscious, the first thing you do is make your monkey mind busy. Our monkey mind has a property to always go on doing something. Our monkey mind is the creation of neurons, your nervous system. And this is not so important. You know, we think that whatever, because there is only one cell in the body which do a function and is aware about that function. Liver cell do a function, but just do a function. Your heart beats, but just beats. It doesn't create any drama about it. Your neurons pass information, your gray matter, which makes your conscious mind, but it is aware about it also. It creates your emotions and whims and fancies and likings and your drama, and it is aware about it. So that's why the function of mind looks very important. Believe me, it is less important than your spleen function or your pancreas function. If you have a pancreatitis, your shelf life of your body is very less. And if you have a monkey mind, you can live with your monkey mind for 50 years. If your liver cell doesn't support you, you are gone in few weeks. If your pancreas doesn't support you, you're gone in few days. If your heart cell doesn't support you, you're gone in few minutes. If your lungs doesn't expand and shrink, you are gone in few seconds. Claudia, am I right?
Yeah.
And you think that the drama of your neurons is a bigger game than the game of your lungs or your liver or your spleen or your pancreas or your heart cells? No. Because those cells don't create drama. This creates drama. And the drama of these neurons looks bigger than life itself. To our we people, this creation of the conscious mind looks like a bigger thing than the life itself. My love, my beloved, my possession, I like you, I dislike you. Usually this thing looks like bigger than life, but it is not bigger than life. You take away all these dramas, life goes on. But you take away the liver function, life doesn't go along. You take away the lung function, life doesn't go along. So this is the game of the conscious mind, monkey mind, which make us crazy. So now this monkey mind which creates so many issues and hassles for you, you make it busy. Count in, count out. When monkey mind is busy, the property of the mind is it can do only one thing at a time. Manyate gyayate aneniti mane. Mind cannot do two things at a time. But it do jump from one to another so fast that it looks like that it is doing multiple things, but it cannot. When you make this monkey mind busy, then you cannot like, dislike, angry or happy, disgust or fear, love or hate. You can't do it because you are counting breath. Monkey mind cannot create its game of drama when it is busy counting something. Judith, you are getting my point? So for 5 minutes you are counting breath. You cannot love your husband and you cannot dislike your ex-husband. And you cannot, say abusive things to your boss. All this is not possible. And less is the drama created, less is the energy put on to resolve the drama. Our conscious mind first creates drama, then we say, no, this is not good, I am an intelligent person, and Claudia say we should love everyone, I should not dislike my ex-husband, he also, then you create a drama, then you resolve a drama. Then you create love, then you create opposite. So this, not creating drama and not a resolving drama. One benefit, a lot of energy saved. This small brain consuming 60% of the glucose consumed by body. Lot of energy saved. The second benefit is your subconscious, which runs your everything, which runs your liver, which runs your gallbladder, which runs your every endocrinal secretions, which runs your estrogen, progesterone secretions, which runs everything. Now this subconscious is free. When this subconscious is free, the conscious is busy. The conscious has only 4 programs: imagination, memory, decision making, and saying what is right or wrong. Your conscious mind has only 4 programs. You are stopping it. You are making it busy. You are not using your imagination, memory, decision making, and judgmental power. You have make it busy counting breath, and now you have given a space to the subconscious. What subconscious will do to you? Subconscious is intuition. Subconscious is sixth sense. Subconscious is gut feeling. Subconscious is right perception. The problem with the perception is it always looks like a truth to you. Your perception is a truth for you, but it is a seldom truth. My perception say, wow, such a beautiful woman, life is going to be beautiful. After 6 months, perception is like, oh, it was not so true. And after 2 years, I come to know I was stupid. Then I have to resolve it, go through a divorce, and after 4 years for that, every woman looks like a bad woman. Then I say, no, few are good. Then I start the game again. By the time I move from being 30 to 40, one wrong perception, 10 years taken away. True? One wrong perception, 10 years taken away. 10 years taken away means hundreds of good moments taken away and hundred of disgusting moments given to me. One wrong perception. So when you make your subconscious, which is always available to you, but we are not available to it. We are available to our conscious mind, my memory, my imagination, my liking, my disliking. You are good, that she is not good. When your subconscious is available to you, which is always working to you, but you are not available. Now you are available to it. When you are available to it, your intuition, your sixth sense, your gut feeling, your perception becomes better. So this way, the pranayama control your monkey mind and expand your subconscious, what we call chitta. This subconscious is your intelligent body. This subconscious is your DNA. This subconscious is your genetic profile. Every cell is its own memory. Liver will secrete bile and pancreas will secrete insulin. Who tells it to liver and pancreas? Your subconscious, your genetic mapping, your DNA. Your subconscious is your DNA. Your subconscious goes wrong, you get cell mutation. You protect yourself from this cell mutation, you protect yourself from all these issues. So this is the beauty of the conscious breathing. Now see the things from another perspective. We have 5 layers. If anyone has, all of us has basic understanding of our body, that we have 5 layers made up of physical body and the prana body, mental body, intelligent body, and bliss body. Physical body can be taken care of by taking good food and good yoga, good exercise. When you make your prana better, you make your energy body better. The energy body better means better vibrations in the body also. And that creates a foundation for the next layers of the body, your mental body and your intelligent body. Your intelligent body is your DNA to become healthy. Time doesn't allow me to talk more on this. Some other time I can talk more on how the pranayama helps you to make your energy body better, and by your making your energy body better, it makes the foundation for other layers to also perform wonderfully. Your good prana helps you to give you good mental health also. your good physical health, your good energy body, and your good mental body is the foundation for your good intelligent body. Your good intelligent body means your genetic health, your DNA means your Vigyan Kosha. The problem with the Vigyan Kosha is your DNA is, modern science is trying to intervene it directly by doing genome mapping and then playing with the genes. But our science say that you make a conducive atmosphere for your energy, for your Gyan Kosha by creating a good foundation of physical, mental, and energy body, because these three bodies you can influence directly. Your intelligent body you cannot influence directly. If you have, your intelligent body's job is to keep you alive. This is not the job of Dr. Fauci in USA to give you a vaccine to keep you alive. World thinks that a vaccine will keep us alive. It is our intelligent body, it is our Vigyan Kosha, our immunity which keep us alive. Body is helping yourself, intelligent body, day in, day out to keep you healthy and go for 100. We give it a lot of jobs to it. Eat like a pig and tell intelligent body resolve it. Drink like a stupid and tell intelligent body resolve it. Sleep like a pig and tell intelligent body to resolve it. Keep me going for 100. I will not do exercise, I will increase cholesterol and do my genes manage it. And then energy body, we will not do anything, exercise, no good energy, no good vibes, no alpha waves, no beta waves. I will create disgust in whole of the day my body by watching pornography, by watching horror movie, by watching CNN movie. You watch CNN for 30 minutes, your prana is gone down. After 30 minutes, world is collapsing. You watch CNN for 2 hours, then you are like, oh, you need a tranquilizer. Or you need a wine to calm yourself. Otherwise, you think that world is collapsing by the morning. So you try yourself to kill yourself whole of the day by creating fear, by creating disgusting emotion, by creating bad vibes, by creating eating like a pig, sleeping like a pig, and then tell the intelligent body, manage it. But think, if we help our body, physical body by good food, prana body by good pranayama and good vibes and good sensory inputs coming to you, and mental body by managing our emotions, then our intelligent body is free. Then rather than resolving the mess created by three bodies, it will help you to evolve. You have a software, but you are sending viruses, you are sending so many problems to it all of the day, it is struggling. Your mother is keeping home good, but everyone is giving trouble, then she is busy sorting out trouble. But now if you keep your three bodies good, your Vigyan Kosha is so happy that it has not to play with the shit. Then it helps you to evolve. So this is the beauty of the pranayama, that you manage your prana body along with your physical and mental body. You create a conducive atmosphere for your intelligent body, and it helps you to evolve. Another way of looking at your pranayama, that pranayama helps to manage all 5 vatas, the pran, udan, vyan, saman and apan. And when your 5 ears, prana are good. They are responsible for the movement of the good pitta and good kapha also. The pitta means your all biochemical secretions, your hormonal secretions, and your metabolism. And your kapha means your strength and immunity and structure. So by maintaining good vata, you can maintain good pitta and kapha also. Because the movement of the hormones and chemical secretion is not possible without the help of the neurological functions, movement, which is the job of vata, prana. So when you inhale and exhale, that is prana and udan vayu, you not only manage prana and udan, you manage vyan, the movements, and intestinal movements and downward movements also, because all those 5 movements are the part of one energy, one vibration, prana. You manage 2 parts of the prana, you manage 5 parts of the prana. Means all body functions get better tuned. This is the another way pranayama helps you. What is happening? So, as we have limited time, I will stop talking on importance of pranayama more and go to the next thing, what we call pratyahara. Some problems with the presentation. It is not uploading. Oh, it is uploading now. Pratyahara, the 5th limb of 8 limbs of yoga. Claudia ji explained to us moderation, control on urges, and do everything in moderation. That is called the 5th limb of yoga, the Pratyahara. I already talked about the Pratyahara, that controlling your all 5 senses and using them in moderation. In yoga, we say that 80% of the mental disorders happen with over, under, and misuse of the senses, which we already mentioned in detail, and intellectual failure. When you practice the control on urges, the control on senses, you stop yourself from over, under, and misusing the senses. And how much damage it can do to you, we have already talked. The second thing Pratyahara helps you to save you from intellectual failure. Glenn, the intellectual failure means you know something is wrong, even then you do it. You know alcohol is bad, but you drink. You know you have this cirrhotic liver, even then you take 2 wines. You know smoking is bad, even then you smoke. I've seen people with lung cancer smoking. You know that eating like a pig is bad, you have a bypass done. You still eating red meat. That is called intellectual failure. You know something is wrong, even then you're doing it. So these 2 things put together, over, under, and misuse of the senses, and intellectual failure. Control on the urges help you to save us from both. The next is dharana, that is what we call focus. Contemplation, which prepare you for meditation. I need your focus to little more to say what I'm sharing with you. Contemplation is useful then and only then if you are doing it with a mind free of viruses. If you are practicing focus and dharana with viruses, what are the viruses? Viruses are 5 Ayurveda's yoga say. The first is kama, means lust, anger, false ego, excessive attachment. Whenever you are doing contemplation under the influence of the viruses, your contemplation will create troubles for you. Because when I see towards you with lust, then I see everything wrong in between you and me. When I see Claudia with anger, then whatever I see a wrong picture. When I see Claudia with excessive attachment, I see everything in a wrong perspective. So contemplation is of no use if it is practiced without yama and niyam. 8 of limbs of yoga has to be practiced in a sequential order. If you do contemplation with fear or anger or lust or greed, you will become a crazy terrorist or a bad social element, because you will get all the reason to justify to kill or to steal or to do all those disgusting things which make you a criminal mind. So contemplation without vices of man leads to developmental of the first stage of the awareness. When you do contemplate, then how it helps? We call it Swa Adhyay, means self-study. Whenever you do the contemplation, means self-visualization, to see you with neutrality, not with ego, not with anger, not with fear. What it will do to you? Your self-visualization always need to auto-analysis. Auto-analysis means you will analyze what is wrong, what is right. To change any pattern in your life, you don't need to do anything. You only have to do is contemplation. Contemplation with a clear head, with no vices, will help Swa-avlokan, means to visualize self, will help you to auto-analysis. You will analyze yourself and your analysis will lead to auto-regulation. I will, Judith, like to give a little naughty example. A man of 40 looks at a young woman, right? He still has some testosterone. My daughter is also listening this class. And my wife is also listening. So what he sees, a beautiful woman, right? And gets some lustful feeling. This is like a common manly thing. Your brother has it, my father has it, and my brother has it, and I have it. This is a common thing. Am I right? True. So, but when I'm aware about what I'm doing, then I don't see only a figure. Then I understand that I have a daughter who also has same figure. my detached list observation, my self visualization help me to have an auto analysis. Then my consciousness tell me that what is right and wrong, and that leads to my reaction. So what I'm trying to say is, your self visualization leads to self analysis, which leads to self regulation. So, and self regulation leads to a better human being. Then you evolve. So the contemplation, the next limb of the yoga, which comes after the pranayama, which comes after the yam, niyam and pratyahara. When you have tamed your body, when you have tamed your breath, now it is time to tame your mind. Before taming your mind, you need a clear mind. Otherwise, you can get a terrorist mind. And with all the logics to kill, you will take a plane and put it to a tower, and you will be say, okay, it is right thing to do. They are also yogi, but yogi with wrong training, with wrong mind. You know, they are well trained, so much motivated, but with wrong contemplation, with vices. They were contemplating with anger and hate, and then the results is different. So the contemplation leads to self-visualization, leading to self-analysis, and leading to auto-regulation. This is the preparation for meditation. Without that, meditation is going to create a huge mess for you. It will take you to a mental asylum. And this auto-analysis help you to have control on your urges also. The next, yeah, the meditation. I will talk the last thing of the day. And we have how much time? We have 15 minutes more. So the meditation process, I'm trying to explain it as a doctor, not as a yogi or a spiritual person. This is a picture you can see, a graph you can see. I'm trying to explain what is a meditation. The dhyan. To be practiced after following all the limbs, and how it will help you to, as a therapeutic tool, to make you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually healthy. Not to make a monk, not to make a Buddha, just to become healthy first. So the meditation is that how our mind and this process works. We get information from all the senses, what we see, what we touch, what we smell, what we taste, and what we visualize. And your conscious mind process it and make impression on your soul, right? This is the way it works. Think of a time that you are not listening any sound. Now your only 4 senses working. Your processor gets some rest. Now you touch, stop the touch also, and you don't see also. Now no data coming from the 3 senses, and you feel, your processor get more rest. Now you don't taste and you don't smell also. There is no data coming. Judith, you have stopped the input. Your processor is, getting some rest. No input coming to your iPhone 7s. I think so you have iPhone 7s. So no data coming. But the problem is you have stopped the data coming. But there is an inward traffic. The inward traffic of your viruses. You have an iPhone 7s with so many viruses of lust, anger, greed, excessive attachment. Claudia, imagine a situation, no data is coming and you have no viruses. How beautiful your processor will start working. You are getting a point? But it has still some problems. it has still some unresolved emotions. My father was not so good. My ex was son of a bitch. My teacher was not like that. Your unresolved files, right? For which Claudia is getting training to help people to resolve their unresolved files. West gave a lot of time and energy on that, to resolve people's unresolved files by listening to them. Imagine a situation that by following Yama, Niyam, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, you have very little unresolved data. Now, how good your processor will be working, right? Now your conscious mind, your imagination, your memory, your decision making has limited use because you don't have a data coming and you don't have use your imagination and memory to resolve your unresolved emotions, and your viruses are not there. It means your conscious mind is shut. That is called meditation. No data coming, when there is outward traffic stops, usually with you, me, what happens? You close your eyes, a lot of shit starts coming. Then you come to know you have more traffic inside than what was coming from outside. Now you don't have any traffic from inside, you don't have any traffic from outside, you don't have unresolved emotions, and you don't have any viruses to resolve. Imagine your processors working. And it has to always work. And then what it will create for you? It will create you an expanded consciousness for you. Your conscious mind is shut, your subconscious expands. Your subconscious expands, it gets the taste of your superconscious, of which you are made, of your cellular intelligence, which is the part of the cosmic intelligence. It means you stop from being a human and you start becoming a superhuman. Your journey from the soul to the super soul starts. Your journey from a limited consciousness to the expanded consciousness starts. This is the benefit of meditation after practicing all the limbs. If you are not practicing, without practicing all the previous limbs, then it will create mess for you. So your subconscious starts working better, and what it creates. I will finish today's plan by just taking 10 minutes more, that it gives you peace. Claudia ji, when you get peace, you get a new capability. This is a capability which is always with you but never used. You know, all of us live like a banana. You know what you mean by? When you eat a banana, banana becomes Judith. When you eat an apple, apple becomes Judith. Am I right? Apple and banana is food of the body, and you consume the food and food becomes body. Your emotions are the food of your mind, but when you consume the emotions, you become emotion. You consume the anger, you become angry. You consume the lust, you become lustful. You consume the greed, you become greedy. You consume the disgust, you become disgusted. What it means? That you have become banana. Getting the point? When we eat the food of the body, we don't become the food. But when we eat the food of the mind, we become food of the mind. True? So peace is the only situation which helps you. People say that meditation make you better. I said no. The purpose of that's a very big idea. It just gives you peace. And peace gives you a capability to select the emotion only, because peace is a neutral emotion. Peace is not a good emotion. Peace is not a bad emotion. It is a neutral emotion. And peace gives you a capability to select the emotion. And emotions like a plethora, a big platter of food in front of you. There is a different type of emotions available in front of you. Few are some nice emotions. Favorable emotions. Judith, you have 8 dishes food in front of you. One dish is love, second is joy, third is wonder, and fourth is courage. These are favorable emotions. You consume them, you get endorphins, dopamine, epinephrine. You feel blissed out. You feel ecstatic. You feel relaxed. You feel like arrived. Then there are another set of the emotions, your food of mind available. The anger, the sadness, the fear and disgust. It creates negative biochemistry. It gives you trembling hands, trembling feet, sweating hands, sweating feet, palpitating heartbeat, restless, shrinking eyes, shrinking body. True? And makes you sick. And sometimes make you pee and poo also. Because you when you become restless. And make you thirsty. Make you feel drained out. So when you have peace, which comes from the meditation, you get the ability to choose an emotion what is good for you. And given an opportunity, you will not choose anger, sadness, fear, or disgust. You will choose love, joy, wonder, and courage. This is the benefit of the meditation. Books say that meditation will make you Buddha. Far away idea. I say, give me benefit now. So my teacher said, get some peace. And peace you give you another program, another software, another capability to choose. And given a capability to choose, you will not take stale food. You will not take disgusted food. You will take beautiful food. And this beautiful food is love, joy, wonder, and courage. And love is beauty and devotion. Joy is humor and sarcasm. You will crack a joke. You will have some narcissistic and sarcastic pleasure also. And you will get some curiosity, some enigmatic mystery. You will get some pride and confidence. You will get calmness and relaxation. And if you have peace, you are not going to choose anxiety, worry, depression, self-pity, or irritation or stress. So, all 8 limbs of yoga are tools to make your physical body better, make your energy body better, make your mental body better, so that your intelligent body becomes better. Your intelligent body becomes better, you don't get Alzheimer, you don't get Parkinson, you don't get cell mutation, you don't get cancer, you don't get the other psychosomatic disorder like schizophrenia and all that. And along with that, you become better for the next level of the health. Then you reach to the level of the meditation, which is, I think so, the prime. And you can't do it. It happens to you. The only thing you can prepare yourself is to focus, to dharana. Once your job is to practice just 6 limbs, Seventh will come. You don't have to do it. It will come. And it gives you ability to choose to stay in peace. And peace give you to choose a beautiful life for you. So this is a life away from mental and social and emotional disorder and physical disorder. This is a life which give you good biochemistry, good immunity, good strength, good vitality, good enthusiasm, and good joy, and good sarcasm, and good jokes also. So this is what I have understood about, see, using the 8 limbs of yoga, not only for protecting you from the mental and physical ailments, but giving you relief from that also. Understanding this, you can do a reverse case study. You can see a person that he has anxiety and which limb he has not practiced well, and let him practice that limb better and take away his anxiety and restless and all that. Thanks a lot. That's all I have to share, and time allows this much. We have 1 minute to go, and that 1 minute goes to Claudia to take over. Thank you, Claudia ji.
Thank you, Vivek ji. That was wonderful. Very, very nice. I don't have anything else. If anybody has questions or more comments, this is the moment to share. Any comments about the path of yoga, questions, commentaries? No? Okay. All right, that's it. Thanks everybody for joining. I hope this was very interesting. We'll do another one again. We are trying to do a series of yoga psychology classes like this. So we're going to talk about different subjects. If you want to join again and share with your friends. Okay, so I'm going to stop this.